Good morning. It is a Saturday morning. You got the Jim and Jody show once again at 5 a.m. and we are watching the Northeast very closely because it looks like we may get a few inches of snow.
That's right. New York City, I think, is going to be the big one in that. They're not going to get a lot of snow, but there's a potential they could break.
What do you think is going to get more, New York or Boston?
Oh.
That's a tough call because there may be enough warm air getting in there once it gets to Boston so that they may have actually equal totals, even though there'll be more liquid precip in Boston. But west of Boston, Worcester, Hartford.
Right, and through the mountains are going to benefit from the snow.
Mountains will definitely benefit from this storm. But New York, you're right, Jody. You were saying that before I rudely interrupted
you. That you did.
1.5 inches of snow will break their all-time record.
And they're going to get that. So I think that for New York City, it is a record snow. In that respect, as far as amounts, it's not going to be a heavy snowmaker.
Right, and it's already started too. Check it out, folks. This is what it's going to take to get you to the record stage. New York City, just a little inch and a half. That's all it's going to take. Just a little bit. Boston, a little bit more, but we're going to have to get a couple more storms to get up there. We're getting about 13 inches to go in the Boston area, but we may add 3 or maybe even 6 from this particular storm. The air is still pretty dry up in the Northeast, and before we get to the forecast, we'll let you know what's going on. Here's a look at the satellite picture. You can see our southwest flow overriding the cool dome at the surface, and this is what we were talking about yesterday. So we are getting an overrunning snow type situation. There is a low pressure offshore, but it's not very intense, so it's not really aiding all that much into this snow event. But back to the west, of course, our jet stream continues to dive on down, and as the back side of this dives, the front end of it rises, and sure enough, we're getting the overrunning precipitation. All right, what's going on? As we take a look at the analysis, here's our weak area of low pressure sitting off the coast of Cape Hatteras. Our overrunning snows off to the west, northwest of the low pressure, and it looks like it's precipitating up in a mass in Connecticut, but it isn't yet. It will, and we think once it does begin, it will start to come down pretty heavy. New York saw their visibility go from about 3 miles to 1.5 miles. So it's starting to pick up in intensity in New York. Down to Philadelphia, Atlantic City had some moderate snow. We now have an inch of snow at D.C., at National Airport there in Washington, and 2 inches in Hollywood, Maryland here. So we've seen a little accumulation. This is all heading up South Philly, Wilmington, Delaware, and up the Garden State Parkway right into New York City. We take a look at the radar. You can see everything is motion is off to the northeast. Behind this, a lot of instability, but limited moisture. But we are getting the snow showers, especially over Michigan this morning. Let's break it down. First stop into the northeast. You can see the snow over New York City. You can see the snow down the Garden State Parkway, the New Jersey Turnpike into Philadelphia, east to Atlantic City. Even though they had reduced visibility a while ago, their visibilities have come up, and they're probably going to go down again, too. And you can just see D.C. on the back edge of our snow here, but it's still coming down at enough where we may squeak out another inch. And here's what we think is going to happen. The heavier snow, again, lining up inland with New York and Boston getting similar amounts. But remember, Boston's Logan Airport is right on the water. But up to the North Shore and west of Boston, there is the chance to get several inches of snow before things are all said and done. We take you back to Michigan, 20s, and even the 30s. It's 34 at Washington, D.C. with the snow, and it is accumulating, so it's probably a wetter snow there. Here's the next Arctic cold front dropping to the south, and behind it, of course, we bring in the colder temperatures. But we don't think these...
1 inch of rain around Orlando. Snowfall, Jim talked about the snows coming in across New England, west of Boston, 3 to 6 Boston, possibly a 1 to 3, and of course, enough in New York City. Some areas could pick up 2 to 4 inches of snow, and that's enough to break the record for Central Park. We only got a little ways to go. Temperature